Hello everyone, and welcome to Raven Coding. It has been quite a while since I posted any updates on the main game I've been working on, the game Skyrealm. Now, most of my current subscribers probably subscribed to this channel because they saw this game. I'm making this game in pygame using Python, and it has been quite a while since I posted any updates because I ran into a few snags. The big problem I faced is that I focused too much on the breadth of the game rather than the depth of the game. So I didn't really know much about programming when I first started making this game. I mean, I've programmed since I was a little kid. However, programming in Python and object-based programming was quite new to me. So I just kind of got into it and started making all these different things in the world and all these different aspects you could do without really polishing it or streamlining it, so it ran very well. And in this I discovered that I had over several maps, several thousands of maps planned in order to finish the game, but it took me like at least an hour to do each map. And I just didn't have time to do that. So the main snag was how long it took to make maps. Here's one of the maps from the old version of the game, and it doesn't look that great. It's a simple mountain with different levels, and these maps are untiled, so they're Tmx maps. They have multiple layers, and it just takes a very long time to make these by hand, even something simple as a horrible-looking mountain. So instead of making them manually, I didn't want to go the procedural generation route where it generates random stuff as you play the game, because I wanted the world to feel somewhat real and didn't want it to change as you played it. There are some aspects that do change as you play that aren't the same every time, but I wanted the world to be like a concrete place. So what I did instead is I made a map generating program that generates maps using masks and different noise profiles. So I spent quite a bit of time making this map generation program, which is one of the reasons why it has been so long since I've posted any updates on Skyrealm. Now, for a while I was naming the game Legends of Jara, but the name Skyrealm seemed catchier, so the official name of the game now is Skyrealm Legends of Arroshay. Arroshay is the name of the world the game takes place in. So Skyrealm is going to be the very first of these games if I ever make sequels. Alright, so here we have the map generator. Now in order for this map generator to work, we first need a map mask. We can randomly generate a map mask using a noise profile and selecting different scales and such. It's not quite random, has some random aspects, but mainly uses a Perlin noise profile or a simplex noise profile to generate a mask. But we're not going to use this option because I did a much more interesting option, I think. So we're going to use the program called GIMP. You could also do this in Photoshop or any other program that allows for large image editing. And we're going to go to File New. Now, this map program requires masks of 1000 pixels by 1000 pixels because these are very large maps. It generates 1000 tile by 1000 tile maps. So we're going to go 1000 pixels by 1000 pixels, click OK. And we need to start out with a black background, so we'll just color that black with the Fill tool. And then we are going to use the eraser and make sure it has a hard edge. So we don't want any soft edges. It has to be just a black and white image, a very harsh black and white image. We'll adjust the size. And then we'll decide what shape we want our landmass to be. Let's say we want a little island over here. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then over here we want something shaped more like Let's get a bigger brush. This is going to take forever. So we'll have something shaped kind of like this, sort of crescent shaped, that has a big lagoon sort of thing. And then we'll have another little island here, another island there. And you could even use different pictures of different things to create masks. So this is not a very pretty mask, but I don't want to waste time showing you how to create a mask, or, one that looks really nice. And you don't really have to. That's the beauty of this program. I'll go ahead and save it. Let's go to File, Export As. Make sure it's a PNG. And then we just need to export it into the Automaptmx folder. And we need to save it as mapmask1.png. So we'll export it, overwrite that. Alright, so there we have that map mask saved, and then we just click on New Map, and we wait a few moments, and it is generating the map. Down here it tells us that it is building the new map, updating it, and it can create swamps. Here you can adjust the maximum number of swamps, the scale of the noise, the optics of the noise, the type of the noise. It can be simplex noise or Perlin noise or whatever. So here we have different swamps, and that is not the correct mask. And the reason for that is that I didn't restart the program. This is the previous mask, so we need to restart the program. I shouldn't have loaded it beforehand. Now it's going to load in the new mask that we just created. So it says there are 20 potential swamp areas, and there we have it. We have this island here, and it is a bit connected here, and that's fine, and this island's also a bit connected. Now part of that has to do with the ocean depth, so we can adjust this parameter here to make it so those are more defined islands. But we see that's that basic shape. So using that basic shape combines that with a noise profile, either Perlin noise or simplex noise. Let's change it to simplex noise and make the ocean a bit deeper and see what kind of map that gives us. And we just wait for a while it does its thing. And there we have it. The deeper ocean gives us this series of islands here. Maybe that's a bit too deep, so we might want to increase that a tiny bit. I mean, decrease the depth a tiny bit. And we'll increase the max elevation a tiny bit as well. You can also change the mask intensity if we want that mask to be more defined, harsher. Alright, so here we have something that has several lakes and such. Let's make the mask intensity a bit more intense. And that'll make it more like the mask and less noisy. Alright, and there we have it. One big island over here, some islands over here, and that shape with these rivers and mountains and such. Alright, let's go ahead and export this as a Tmx file. Now this process takes quite a while, so I'm going to go ahead and pause it and unpause it so we don't have to wait through the entire thing. So we'll click on Save TMX. And here it's saying it's saving the Tmx file, and it's doing it one column at a time. So that takes quite a bit, so I'm going to go ahead and pause it and unpause it when it's done. Alright, now it says it's finished. Now as this is running, it might say that it's not responding, but it actually is still doing its job. Just pay attention to the output here in the terminal there, in the Python console. Okay, now we go to the Automap Tmx folder again, and under Tmx maps, that's where the output appears. Now go ahead and open the new map file, and there we can see a 1000 tile by 1000 tile Tmx map that has mountains and rivers and waves and oceans and lakes and swamps and deserts. Looks like there's only... Actually, I don't think there are any deserts in this one. Sometimes there are deserts, sometimes there aren't, depending on the settings you set. Now let's go ahead and zoom in closely. So you can see it has waves, and these are animated waves. It's just not viewing the animations currently. And the water also will be animated. So you see how it creates all these rounded corners instead of square corners? And here is a stream. So if we check show animations, you can see these are animated waves. And it does all this in 5 layers. It also puts trees and plants on the map. Except for some reason there aren't very many trees and plants on this one. There are some. You can adjust the amount of vegetation on the map, so there's a palm tree there. Some maps won't have very much, some maps will have quite a bit. There's some grass there. So I probably should have adjusted the vegetation on this one, but this is definitely easier to automatically make a map like this and then do some fine adjustments later than spend hours and hours and hours making maps. So this is 1000 tiles by 1000 tiles. My old maps that took me over an hour to make were only 64 tiles by 64 tiles. So this, the computer does this in like 10 to 20 minutes, depending on how fast your computer is. It is kind of slow, but compared to how much it would take to do this manually, that's quite impressive, I think. Now, the rivers and lakes aren't the best looking. I still need to work on that algorithm and fine-tune it. But it's something. And there you have it. Now, I will be posting updates on Skyrealm in the near future, showing you what I've done to change the game and make it run a lot more smoothly. So that's all I have for you today. Have a great one. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more videos and updates on what I've been working on. Thank you.